everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Girl Stuff podcast. Today we're joined by Larry Saperstein. Hello.
Hi.
You guys probably know him as Big Red in High School Musical, the musical, the series. I know it's been 2 seasons already out, but let's go back to the beginning. What drew you to the project in the first place?
Ooh, so I at the time of starting High School Musical, I was living in New York City and I was going to college and I was kind of doing a lot of different things. Like I was an actor, but I was working at a dance studio in New York City, and I was working a couple different jobs at my school, doing like a work study kind of things. And at first, I had always kind of been auditioning for different projects, and so at first, High School Musical was really just another audition. I wasn't necessarily um, super conscious of the fact that it was going to be something like that became such a big deal, like right when I first auditioned for it. But I do remember like reading the script for the first episode at the time, which actually was a little bit different than the script that we wound up filming for the first episode. Like, uh, there were some different characters. Like, EJ was actually a freshman. Like, there were some different things, and obviously this was like before the casting process and before they figured out, what the best thing for the show was. But I remember just being very excited that it was a show about theater kids, and so that was always part of the show. That has always stayed part of the show. Is this thing about them being theater kids. Um, and also the thing that was written in the very first episode was that Big Red joined the crew, which he does. That was kept. And I remember thinking that that was really interesting, and I liked that because I liked that the show was not only highlighting the people that were on stage in their shows. I liked that it was about the whole community of the high school theater world, and that there were people that were main characters on the show that were like, Big Red and Courtney and Carlos, these people that were not in the show, but that were still a very, or not in High School Musical rather, but like still a very important part of High School Musical, the musical, the series. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I love it. We don't really have like a show highlighting theater kids. I always loved the entire process of it, and I think it's so fun to have it as like a TV show.
Yeah, and I think, uh, I think we're in that time right now. You know what I mean? I think starting we've always had shows that are about kids that do music or theater or all those things, right? Like we had Glee, we obviously had the original High School Musical movies, but they're always portrayed as, the kids that are different or weird or whatever. And I think really starting with my show, and especially now with shows like Heartstopper and shows that are coming out now in 2022. I think we're really more in this moment of highlighting these things that maybe used to be seen as weird or different, and not having them be weird or different or strange. You know what I mean? And it's really just these are the kids that are in this group, and this is the story, and these are the friends that we want to talk about. Um, and I think that was, like, something that's really special about High School Musical, uh, because because I never, when I was in high school and when I was doing high school theater, like, I never felt different or weird. So I always, it always bothered me that I would watch these shows where, like, the kids that did theater, in school or music were different and weird, and, like, you had to do sports to be normal, uh, and so the fact that now there's a show that, shows that it's just normal and doesn't even say that there is a world in which it would be weird. Do you know what I mean? I think is like something that's always been very special about the show.
Yeah, definitely. Like especially with Glee, they showed
Right.
them kids being bullied so much, and with High School
Yeah.
Musical, it just doesn't get talked about. Like it's just
Right.
normal.
Yeah.
Um, so season 3 comes out this summer, and
Yes.
a fourth season has already been announced.
Yes.
So, in the past seasons, you've done High School Musical, Beauty and the
Mhm.
Beast. Now comes out Frozen. What is a
Mhm.
musical you would like to see in the fourth season?
Ooh, so, I always try to figure it out in terms of, like, is it always gonna be this is the thing that I don't know yet, like, is it always gonna be a Disney show, like a Disney movie that's now a musical, right? Like High School Musical, Beauty and the Beast, Frozen, right, have all been stage musicals adapted from Disney films. So is it like the next thing is Little Mermaid or like one of those kinds of shows that is adapted from a Disney movie? Or maybe, because Disney is so vast now and Disney has so many um I, you know IP, intellectual property, different, like Disney has so many things that they own. Like the door is really wide open for us to do a lot of different things because now with Disney Plus too, especially like Disney Plus has a deal with Hamilton. Hamilton is on Disney Plus. They have, The Sound of Music, all of these different Mary Poppins, I mean Mary Poppins was Disney, but all of these different shows that are like so that started as musicals, that are musicals that high schools still do, you know what I mean? Every so many schools do The Sound of Music or Into the Woods, and I wonder if that's the direction that we might be able to head in. But I actually, I don't think they know yet. I think we're still really early. I don't think they've decided.
So, what musical would you like to see, though?
I don't know. I guess I don't know. I there was a time when I really wanted to do Into the Woods. I thought that would be a fun thing. I still think that would be fun, but I don't know. Maybe there's a better choice. I haven't figured it out yet.
Okay. So I know you can't really say anything about season three yet, but
Hmm.
do you have a favorite memory from filming?
From filming season 3.
Yeah.
Well, um, so I don't think it's a secret that the season takes place at summer camp. And we did film on this camp, uh, in LA that was kind of like they really transformed the camp from what it is normally on a day-to-day basis to what they wound up using for the show, and it was really this cool sort of like field where everywhere you looked you could stand in the middle and everywhere you looked was like this different filming location. So uh there's like this kind of amphitheater and a basketball court, like all these different areas around the camp, and a lot of those were kind of crafted or changed in some way for our show to make it more specific to, uh, the camp that is featured in season 3. And I just remember like standing there and looking around and thinking, this is so cool. Like they built all of this for us. They built all of this for the show, to do something unique and different. And it's so different from the first two seasons, um, that it just felt like a new show at times, which was an interesting experience, and it was cool to kind of look around and see that it was different.
Yeah, and I mean, from the little snippet that we
Mhm.
got of season three, we see some familiar Disney faces on there.
Yeah.
So you guys had a lot of guest stars over the seasons. What is like someone you would love to have on for like a guest role?
Oh, wow. Well, one that I was kind of sad that we didn't have, that I would have loved to have seen, and I would love to, uh still, I mean, still, the door would be like wide open. That would be so cool. Was actually, I thought when they were doing in season 2 the Menke Awards, and when we were initially talking about the Menke Awards and all this stuff, obviously the Menke Awards were based off of Alan Menken, and I thought that they were gearing up to have Alan Menken in maybe at some point in the season, maybe it was like in the finale at the Menke Awards or something like that. I thought that that would have been so cool. But that didn't happen. So I don't know, maybe Alan Menken will come in the future.
I mean, that would be fun.
Yeah.
So, from the two seasons that have been released yet, what was your favorite scene to film and what was the most difficult scene to film?
Oh, wow. Okay, so I think my favorite was probably the Red Means Love song that I did with Julia. Um just because it was such a special moment. We worked really hard on it. Um it was such a fun day of filming. It felt very grand. It felt like we were doing this like big music video for, some pop star. I don't know. It just like it felt like just totally larger than life and like bigger than the show that we do on a daily basis. And I just thought that was so cool and so fun and so special. So I really loved that. I mean, I also really loved doing the Gaston number in season 2, episode 8, I think, because that was like all the boys, and all the boys got to do like a fun dance number, and it's me and Matt. Uh, and I think the most difficult was probably when we were filming in season 2, the quinceañero episode with Carlos and the barn, all at the barn, because we went to a real barn to film that. So there was no heating, there was no like air, anything like that. And we were filming in the middle of the night in November, so it was like freezing. It was really cold. And they had like space heaters for us, and we were all like huddling around the space heaters. And then there was also a lot of problems with the power when we were filming that, because we were like outside on a barn, or like on a farm at a barn, and they were running like generators for all of the power, and there were like multiple times where the power went out, and it was like, okay, I guess we just have to wait in the cold until the power comes back on. So that was like a very it was maybe not difficult for me personally, but it was difficult for the show and the crew and everybody that had to like make that happen. So it was, very thankful that they were able to make that happen.
Yeah, that doesn't sound that fun.
It was fun for the memories.
Yeah, that probably, but for like sitting there for I don't know how many hours, probably.
Yeah, like 10 to 12 hours all night.
Mm. Well, okay. I already teased this, but we're gonna go into a little game of who said it. So I
Okay.
got 15 lines from season 2 prepared for you,
All right.
and you just have to tell me who said it.
Okay.
And we're gonna start off
I'm nervous.
rather easy, which is tonight of all nights.
Is that Carlos tonight? Or me? Is it me?
Yeah, it's
Did I
you.
say that?
Yeah.
What where do I say that? Do you know?
Episode 1.
Of season 2?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, we filmed that 2.5 years ago, so don't
It's
don't hold it against me.
okay. The next one is I get snappy when I feel threatened.
I get snappy when I feel threatened. Okay, it's either Carlos, Gina, or EJ, but probably Carlos or Gina. No, neither. Oh my
Neither.
gosh, I'm gonna do so badly at this game. Who would say I say snap? I get snappy when I feel threat. Miss Jen? I don't know.
It's Ashlyn
Ashlyn? When did she say that?
in episode 6.
In episode 6. Oh, I wasn't there for that. I was at the pizza place, and they were
Well,
all doing their improv class. That's why.
it's okay. It's okay. Okay, the next one is bad choice of words.
Bad choice of words. Uh, is it Ricky? EJ? I don't know.
Do you want me to give you the episode of
Yeah,
season 2
sure.
as a hint? It's episode
Yeah.
2.
Episode 2. Bad choice of words. What is episode 2? Episode 2 is the auditions. We're auditioning for Beauty and the Beast. Is it could it be Ashlyn again? I have no idea. I
It's
guess I don't.
it's Miss Jen.
Miss Jen. Oh, is it like during the audition part?
I think so. I'm not 100% sure.
Wow. I used to be so good at this. Like I would watch the episodes in season 1 over and over and over again, and I would know all of the lines for all of the different like games that we would play. It's been too long. I've forgotten them all.
I'm training you for press.
Yeah.
Okay, number 4 is I lost track of the air quotes.
I lost track. Oh, that is Ricky.
Yes.
Yes. I don't remember when he says that, but I do remember that he says that.
It's in episode 1.
Okay. At the party.
Yeah.
Right.
I
Okay.
just
Yes.
I just
I
remember
remember
a
now.
lot of people
Carlos
doing
is like,
this and him
yeah,
just being
Carlos is
confused.
like, I don't know the show, but if I knew the show, and then he's like, I lost track of the air quotes. I
Yeah.
remember.
Okay, the next one is I'll take some nothing if it's fresh.
Uh, I know that's one of the boys. I'll take some nothing. Oh no! It's Gina.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, it's Gina.
Okay. Line 6 is so who gets us on weekends?
So who gets us on weekends? Um. Okay, I think I remember when this is. This is when like Carlos and Gina are fighting over the choreography. Um, it's probably Ricky. Not Ricky.
No.
Is it EJ?
No.
It's not
R-
me.
wrong gender.
Uh oh, is it Courtney?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, the next one is attitudes on the house.
Attitudes on the house. Okay, I do remember this line, but I don't remember when it happens. Uh I don't remember when it happens, but I do remember someone saying it. What episode is it?
4.
Episode 4 of season 2. Um could it could it be Ricky? Is it on one of the FaceTimes?
It's not one of the main cast.
It's not one of the main cast that says attitudes on the house. Oh, it's Howie.
Yeah.
Yes, I remember. Yes, yes.
Okay, this line makes me giggle. I feel like the clown from It.
I feel like the clown from It. Um is okay, so this has got to be at some point when everybody has their makeup on and all of their costumes, right? No?
No.
It's not when they're like in their costumes for Beauty and the Beast. Wow, I'm doing so bad at this game.
It's
I'm so
episode 5.
Episode 5. What do we do in episode 5? Oh, that's the quinceañero.
Yeah, and someone's crying.
Uh I guess Carlos? Oh, maybe it's Miss Jen.
Yes.
Yeah, cuz she's crying about being asked to be the madrina.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Okay. The next line has a hint in it who it's not. So it is
Okay.
EJ, you had one job.
Oh, I'm pretty sure that's Carlos.
Yes.
Cuz
Okay.
something about the sports. There's like a sports thing and then we like look at him and then he's like, "I don't know." And we're like, "EJ, you had one job."
Yeah.
I remember.
Okay, the next one is excuse me, I'm gonna get glitter.
Excuse me, I'm going to get glitter. Wow, these are like really deep cut lines. This is great. Okay, so I would imagine it's maybe Seb. Is that right? Okay.
Yeah.
I don't remember when it is.
Episode 8.
What do we do in
Scene, I
episode
couldn't
8?
tell
Oh,
you.
yeah, episode 8 is the one where everybody's fighting. Yeah.
Yeah.
right?
And
Yeah.
I think it's when he's with the girls and they're just
Oh, it's the no. Oh, it's not the
no.
sleepover. That's later
No?
on.
Okay.
But the right. I remember.
Don't listen to anything I say. Okay, the next line is I'm obsessed with both of you.
Anyone could say that. That's a throwaway line that anyone could get. But I imagine it's Ashlyn. No, Ashlyn or I'm obsessed with both of you. Could it be Courtney? No.
No.
Gina? I don't know.
It's Nini.
It's Nini. Oh my gosh. I never know when Nini's there or not.
Okay, the next one is it's not a thing, you guys, okay?
It's not a thing. Um wow. Feels like feels like Gina or Ashlyn. Neither.
Neither.
Wow, I love when I like list off like three people that it could possibly be, and you're like, no, it's none of those three. Um, it's not a thing, you guys. It's not
I'm gonna
me.
s- I'm gonna say Gina was close though.
Gina was close. Oh, is
It
it
was close.
EJ?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Then we got being nice. What a concept.
Oh my, being nice. What a concept. Um, again, this feels like a Gina line or a
Not
Ricky
main
line.
cast.
Not main cast. Uh, is it is it Lily?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay.
Okay, we got two more.
Okay,
Then
two more,
we
and I've
move
gotten
on to
one
acting.
right so far.
No, I think you've got more. I'll
Not
keep
without
count.
hints.
Well, I'm here to help. I'm happy to help. Okay, the next one is why am I nervous?
Why am I nervous? Okay, I remember something along these lines. Um, don't remember the context. I don't remember the context of this. What is this? What part of what
Episode 12.
episode 12? Why am I nervous? Um, you know, I really episode 12 was one of those moments where we were all very separated because everybody was like uh the way that this show is written, and this is I'm fully giving an excuse to why I don't know the answer, but uh this it's one of those episodes where like uh two characters are off over here and then two characters are off over there, and then when we do like those show scenes where it's like little people in little groups and then people are on stage, a lot of times those are filmed like at separate times and we're not all together. So I remember uh a line similar to that at some point, but I don't remember anything about where that happened.
It was Nini.
It was Nini saying, "Why am I nervous?" What was she nervous about? Was she nervous
It,
about the envelope?
the last one is you could have just knocked.
You could have just knocked.
And I think that's the hardest one.
Um, wow. I have no idea. Could it be from is it from the sleepover episode?
It's from
Episode
episode
10?
10. It is episode 10.
Uh, you could have just knocked.
It's also not main cast as a hint.
Oh, I know. Oh my gosh, I remember this. It's Alexis Nellis. It's Natalie Bagley. Because we were
Yeah.
going into the door and then we're trying to find the keys and then she's like, "You could have just knocked." I remembered that one. I remembered it because I was the one that she said it to.
Okay, that makes sense.
Because I was the one that was doing the keys. See, when I'm in a conversation with someone, I'll tend to remember it, but if I was not there at all or if I said it, no idea. In one ear out the other.
I mean, it's been a minute.
It has been a minute. We finished filming that season already a year and a half ago. Was the end of that season, and that season took forever to film because of the pandemic. So some of that stuff, some of those lines were said 2.5 years ago before COVID started. So
Long, long ago.
yeah.
Okay, now we're going away from High School Musical and going
Okay.
into more about you and how you got your start in acting. So,
Okay.
what inspired you to begin acting in the first place?
So so I don't know if I was necessarily like inspired to begin acting because I started when I was really really little. I started, as an actor and a performer ever since I was like 10 years old. Um, but really, the first thing that I ever did that was like a performance based thing was dance class. And I started taking dance class at like 6. Um, and I remember seeing 42nd Street on Broadway. Um, and that musical has a lot of tap dancing in it. And so I remember seeing that and just being like so in love with that, and like there was just something about that that was so exciting to me. And so then I really started taking dance classes pretty seriously after that. I was probably around like 6 or 7. Um and so then, shortly after that, but also both of my parents, my dad did a lot of community theater when I was growing up and like around, where I lived. And then my mom is a music teacher. So I was kind of around all of these performance things from when I was really little. Um, but I started doing the shows that my dad was doing. So when I was like 10, I did a community theater production of The Music Man, and I played Winthrop Peru, so the young boy in The Music Man. And this was, my dad was in the show and my mom was in the show, and it was always like a family thing. We would kind of do it all together as a family. And then because I lived so close to New York City, I was able to start going into New York City from the time I was like 10 years old, and do auditions and all those kinds of things. So then I got a manager, uh, which for anyone that doesn't know, a manager is somebody that is kind of in your corner as an actor, and they help you get auditions for things. So um, they you kind of will like audition for them, and then they'll decide if they like you, and if they think that you are somebody that can go and audition for things and actually like get hired for acting jobs. So I started to do that when I was about 10, and then for a long time it kind of really didn't amount to much. I was in school still, and I was getting interested in other things. I mean, I did shows all throughout school, in high school and stuff, but I didn't really do a lot of professional work. Um, but then I did in high school. I also started doing some like commercials. So I did a commercial for Goldfish, and I did a commercial for um like cable companies and things like that. Uh Different. I did one for like American Express, like just different products that I was able to, book commercial work for. Um and then I went to college. I started college for something that was completely different than being an actor. I was going for theatrical design. So I was learning how to do lighting design and scenic design and costume design for theater. Um, and that was really really interesting. And I did that because uh, I already kind of had the tools at the time to be an actor and to like learn about acting and to train as an actor. And I was at that time taking tap dance very seriously as well. So I was doing a lot of those things really all the time. And I wanted to, if I was going to go to college, I wanted to learn something that I didn't have the opportunity to learn outside of a college setting. Um, so I did that, and that taught me a lot about just theater in general and how theater and film and all those things are made. Um, and then I kept auditioning, and I was just very lucky to get High School Musical at the time that I did, which was uh, about halfway through when I was in college. I was 20 when I started High School Musical. Um, so then ever since then, I've really been dedicating more time to being an actor full time, but I still do a lot of other things as well.
So, out of like dancing, singing, acting,
Mhm.
what is your favorite thing about each?
Wow, that's a great question. So I think for in the dance world, I'm really mostly a tap dancer. That's like the thing that I do the most. And I don't really do the other styles of dance anymore. Like when I was younger, I definitely took, plenty of ballet classes and plenty of jazz classes and all those kinds of things. But ever since I've been, a young adult, I haven't really done those too much anymore. Um, but with tap dance, I I also grew up as a musician, and I was in jazz band, and I played the double bass and electric bass when I was in high school and middle school. Um, and so for me, what I love about tap dance is that it really combines all of those things because tap dance is music. You're focusing on rhythm, you're focusing on playing the music that's, written a lot of times, and it's just not written down on a paper, it's just choreography, but it's still musical in that way. And so for I love that for with tap dance, I'm able to bring that into my dancing. And so it feels like I'm exercising a lot of different muscles and like working on a lot of different skills when I'm tap dancing, if that makes sense. Um, with uh, with singing, I think that again, like I love the musicality of singing. Sorry, my nose is running because I get very bad allergies. I usually live in LA, in Los Angeles, but recently I've been in New York. So I'm in New York right now at my parents' house where I grew up, and I get very bad allergies here. So, anyways, but yeah. So with singing, I think that my mom was a singer, and I grew up watching her sing in uh at gigs. She used to sing at weddings, and she used to sing at parties and like all those kinds of things. And so I feel very connected to her when I sing. Um, it feels like I'm sort of keeping something alive, like in my family when I sing. Um, I don't think singing is really my strong suit of like the three things that I can do. Or I mean, I can do a lot of things, but I don't think that singing is really like one of the things that I do like the best. Um, but it is something that's always kind of been part of me because I've always done musical theater. So I always have like viewed singing from the lens of musicals and musical theater, and it really is an extension of acting. Um, but yeah, I think I've always felt like connected to my mom and to like music again, like connected to being a musician. I really like that, and I've recently, since the pandemic, started playing piano. I learned how to play piano during the pandemic, um, and that also was another thing that like really helped me feel more connected to singing because it was like a way to like deepen my understanding of what I was doing when I was singing, if that makes sense, with like the music and the sort of tonality, like the music theory of it all, was something that I always really liked. Um, and then with acting, um, acting, has really been the thing that has allowed me to learn the most about myself. Because acting is you are the best actor when you are truest to yourself, I think, and the deeper that you go within yourself, the better of an actor you will be. So in studying acting throughout my life, I really have studied a lot about myself, and I've learned about myself pretty deeply. And I'm always learning more about myself. You can never really stop learning new things about yourself, and people change. And so I think acting has always been a thing that's helped me understand myself in moments of change in my life. Um, and so and it's also really helped me accept myself too, because especially with Big Red, um the reason why High School Musical works, or High School Musical the musical, the series works, is because every actor in that show is only expected to be 100% themselves, and they're never asked we're never asked to be anybody other than ourselves. And I think that is really special, because it it really showed me that, like, just being myself is enough, and that when I am truly myself, uh I will have the best outcome. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And since we've already gotten into some what you've learned over the years, what
Yeah.
is like one advice you've got from being like in the entertainment industry with doing theater for so long? Like one advice that you got that stuck with you.
Um so okay, so the one that I always laugh about, but this is very niche. Like, this is very uh if you're in the world of being an actor, um was like, it used to be that you would do oh wow. It used to be that you would do auditions in the morning, and then, like, they would keep everybody and do callbacks, like, in the afternoon. They don't really do that as much anymore. Um but they would always say, like, plan have lunch plans after your audition, for if you get cut, then you can go and do something fun with a friend and forget about your audition. But if you have to cancel lunch plans because you got a callback, then at least you got a callback. But I think, like, the deeper meaning behind that is like, uh, it's like not putting all of your eggs in one basket. It's like every audition, even if you don't get it, is practice, right? It's just practicing for the audition that you do get. And also, when you're auditioning, you're not just auditioning for the role that you're auditioning for. And even if the answer is no, when you do an audition, you're showing a room full of people, a lot of people, who you are and what you can do. And maybe you are not the perfect fit for the character that they're casting right in this moment, but auditioning and being your truest self and showing who you are in auditions shows them who you are, so that when something does come along that you're right for, they will remember you, and they will be more inclined to ask you to audition for that, or ask you to come in and read for that. And so I think, again, it's like the 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 truest thing is being yourself. And everything else is kind of just circumstance.
Yeah, and I think that just like that advice goes like for everything, not just acting.
Hmm.
Like be true to yourself. Don't change for other people.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and I think, but with acting, it's just difficult because we think that we have to change to be a character. But I think that the truth is that the less that you try to change yourself for a character, the better, because you can never be anyone else but you. You know, even as even as an actor, you will never be able to live that as anyone else but yourself. Um, so the more that you are comfortable with yourself, I think the more others will see that as like transformative. But really, I think it's just being true to who you are.
Yeah, and speaking of someone who has no clue about acting at all, I think it also adds to the character if if they're still like a part of you. Like it
Yeah,
adds to the performance as well if they're still like part of you in the character.
yeah, and that's been the wonderful thing about High School Musical too, is because when I first auditioned for Big Red, he wasn't a tap dancer. He didn't do any tap dance, but that was something that I did that was special about me, that the producers of High School Musical saw, and they wanted it to be as authentic as possible, and they wanted to bring in everybody's talent into that. And so I I think that they understood that like the more authentic we are and the true we are to ourselves, the more life is breathed into the characters. And so I think that's what makes it like so so exciting, is because the characters really are these like three-dimensional, fully formed people, and that's because we were just so encouraged to bring ourselves into those characters.
Yeah, definitely. To follow all of that, what is some advice you would give to your younger self about acting or like tap dance in general?
Oh wow. I would say that I need, when I'm as a younger person, I should find more joy in practicing and working on my skills, because only now in the last couple of years have I realized that practicing and like working on your skills is really where we discover those things that that we were just talking about, all those things. And I think when I was younger, I was just so focused on like I want to be on stage, I want to get a show, and I want to work, even if it wasn't like professionally. I just really wanted to be in shows and like do the performance part, but I didn't always think about um that it's important to do a lot of that stuff on your own, um, and work through those things, alone, um, because it helps you understand, more deeply what you're doing. And I think that's something that comes with growing up, but also, that so many of my dreams are gonna come true. As a 10-year-old, if I had told myself that I was gonna be, you know, in a Disney show, I would have thought that was ridiculous. But here I am.
Here we are. Okay, we already went a little deeper. Now we're
Sorry, I'm a
gonna
deep
like
person, I guess.
it's okay.
Today I'm feeling deep.
We're gonna dive right in. How do you, now that you're more in the public eye because of High School Musical, the musical, the series,
Yeah.
how do you maintain a balance between your professional and your personal life?
So, this is the thing about being an actor too, is it's a lot of consistent time on, and then a lot of consistent time off. So, what I mean by that is like, uh, for somebody who has a 9 to 5 job, you go every single day from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., and then you go home, and you have weekends off and all of those things. When you're on a TV show and when you're an actor, you work 12 hours a day every single day for 4 months. And then you do nothing for 3 months. And then you go back and you do 12 hours a day every day again for 3 more months. And that's just like kind of the way that it works. So I feel like I have these moments of intense work, and then I have moments of intense um, relaxation.
Nothing.
But a lot of times in those moments of relaxation, I feel pressure. I try to put pressure on myself to work and do other things in that time um because I don't like sitting still. But in the last year, I've really tried to force myself to like be okay with that resting time. And like, I moved to LA and I made new friends there, and I've kind of created a new social life for myself. And so all of those things I think are also just part of what happens when you're, someone who's like in your early 20s and you're exploring the world. So I think yeah, I don't know if that really answers your question, but that's like the journey that I'm on right now.
Yeah, and I mean, changing, especially during COVID, like changing
Yeah.
up your life and like doing something different when like the world is standing still,
Yeah.
is really good for like your mental health. Because
Yeah.
I know because of COVID, I was home from work for 6 months,
Yep. Me too.
and I didn't do anything. I was at home in like a tiny rainy German town, creating a
I'm sure it was
podcast.
beautiful. I'm sure it was beautiful. I would love to go to a tiny rainy German town right now.
Come,
Are
I'll
you
show you
kidding me?
around. I'll show you around.
I would love that.
No, but I mean, with like everything standing still, you had to find something else to put your focus on.
Yeah.
And it's been crazy. So, besides like moving and everything, what have you learned about yourself these past few years during COVID?
Wow. I well, first of all, like I said, I learned how to play the piano, which was maybe not learning something about myself, but it was something that I that really helped ground me and like opened the door to like new creative kind of opportunities during the pandemic. Because it was really just something that I could do alone, and I didn't need anybody else to help me with it. And I could watch videos, on YouTube about learning how to play the piano. I, practiced in practice books and like all those things. It was just like a great way to remind myself that like everything that I needed for success was already like inside of me. I just had to apply it. Um, that's the first thing. I think the other thing is like we only have a limited amount of time on this planet, and I wanted to not let that time go by being afraid to do things. So, I lived in New York and New York City my whole entire life. And for so long in my life, I thought that like New York was the best place in the world and I never want to move. And it's the center of the universe and everybody should be jealous of me that I live in. You know what I mean? I'm in the best place in the world and I'm never going to go anywhere else because why would I go anywhere else? Because New York is the best. And like, I think that the pandemic was one of those moments where I was like, oh, but there are other places and they're also amazing. And I want to explore all of those other places. I don't want to be, 40 and say that I've never been to LA, or I never lived in LA, or the UK or anywhere. Like I really want to be able um to like really deeply explore as many places in this world as I possibly can because what's the point of living on this planet if you're not going to see it, you know?
I mean, true, true. Um, so I was gonna ask this later, but it fits right now. So, what
Okay.
is your favorite place you've traveled to so far?
Favorite place I've traveled to. Um, so before High School Musical, I did a couple of trips to Europe, and I went to uh, Italy. Was a fun one that I did when I was in high school. It was like our senior high school trip. Um, that was really fun because that was the first time I ever went to like Europe or anything like that. So it was like very just like a whole new thing. And then I also went to Israel, which might be the top of my list because I think it's offered really all over the world. But if you're Jewish, you can go to Israel for free on a trip called Birthright, and you kind of get to explore. Israel as a Jewish young adult, and like see this place that we've talked about our whole lives, in learning about being Jewish. Israel is like a very important place. Um, so that was a really exciting trip because I learned a lot, just like about the world, and I learned a lot about myself, and I was like truly on my own. My parents were not there. It was like very just me and strangers. And so I learned a lot about like being myself and taking care of myself. So that was a very interesting experience. And then the year after that, I went to Romania for a theater festival. And that was like totally different too, because that was like, more like, I mean, Eastern Europe, like, which is a totally different thing than Western Europe, and it's like very, just like a different thing. I mean, I think Romania was beautiful. Um, and it was just like another just beautiful place. Yeah.
Um, Speaking into the future, what are like projects that you're hoping to venture into the coming years, and what's a role that you would really love to play?
Mm. I want to do everything. I mean, I know that sounds like a cop out, but it's really true. I want to do more musicals. I would love to be on Broadway. That's something that I've never done, and I think I would, it'd be really exciting to do something like that. Um, I I would love to play a villain in something. I think would be so cool. And so that's like maybe a dream role. I always talk about like Lord Farquaad in Shrek, because it's like a funny villain. I think that I just think is so fun, and you can have so much fun with that. And so I'd love to play like one of those kind, like a Disney villain, or like a very campy kind of villain. I think would be so fun. Um, yeah, and I want to do I want to be able to do different kinds of projects. I would love to, do my own shows. Like I would love to develop a solo show that I can tour and travel with and get to see the world. I think that's a big part of our industry that I haven't really explored yet. So um I really just want to do everything that I possibly can.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm a big fan of combining passions. So combining
Yeah.
traveling and like acting is
I mean,
like
yeah, doing a show, and I never thought about this, but like doing a show where I get to do like a world tour would be such a dream come true, because I would get to visit everywhere that I've never gotten to see and like explore, and that would be just like so cool.
okay, going into like fun questions. We're gonna
Okay.
start off with on topic of musicals.
Okay.
So, what is your favorite musical?
My favorite musical, I have a couple because I really have, as you can see, I'm terrible at choosing things. You asked me what my
It's
favorite
okay.
places, I gave you 14. Um, I love A Chorus Line, the musical A Chorus Line, because it is about dancers, and I found it at a time in my life when I was really heavily focusing on being a dancer, um and it just made me feel so excited to be a dancer. I also love Cats the musical because it is also about dancing, and the spectacle of Cats is the dancing, and so I think that is so magical. Um and I also love Into the Woods because it's not about either of those things. It's about a message and a story, and that is also powerful.
On topic of cats, what are your thoughts on the movie?
Uh, Pass. No, no, I'm kidding. It's not. I don't. It's not an accurate representation of what makes Cats the musical special. And it was really frustrating as somebody who loved Cats the musical to see that movie come out, because a lot of people that don't know about Cats were watching that movie as their first experience with Cats the musical, and it just made me so angry because I was like, that's not the thing that I loved growing up. That is a completely different thing that is not really representative of the thing that I grew up loving.
Okay. Now we got a completely different question. If
Okay.
you could switch bodies with someone for an entire day, like Freaky Friday, who would you switch with?
Beyonce. maybe, or someone that like like the Queen Elizabeth or like something like that that's like totally just like the opposite experience from what I am living. You
I
know what I
love
mean?
that. I love that. I love that. I always say I would switch with my dog just so I could lay around all
Oh,
day and do nothing.
that's a good idea too. I didn't think about like non-human things. Maybe a bird. That would be cool.
Fly, fly away. Explore while
Yeah,
flying. I mean, that would be fun.
that would be fun.
Okay. I am planning on breaking your brain with these questions.
Okay.
So, if you had to pick a song to play every single time you enter a room, like your walk-in song, what song would it be and why?
Oh my goodness. I don't know. I don't have a lot of songs that I'm not a huge like music person. Surprisingly, I've attached more to musicals than music. Um
I mean,
yeah, Josh plays a song every single day when he walks on set. He always plays a different song, but like he'll play a song just to kind of like get the mood up. Um, which that's what this question reminds me of because that's what I'm familiar with. Um, but oh gosh, I don't know what's been like in. Let me look at my Spotify. What
yes.
I've recently been playing on Spotify. Um, let's see. Harry
I
Styles.
mean, duh.
You know, maybe it's Harry Styles. Maybe it's or oh, I love Lizzo's new song about damn time. No, that would be fun. Maybe that one.
I mean, it's a good song, and I that sets the mood for sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay, I have another song question.
Okay.
What would be the theme song for your life?
Ooh. You know, I feel like I would need to write a song that's the theme song for my life. I see my life as like a sitcom, you know, that has its own like theme song, like the iCarlita song or something like that. Um and I think I need to write a song. I feel like I've written a few songs that feel like very like they could be sort of my life in a nutshell, but uh I've never done anything with them. But I don't know. Maybe if I develop a solo show, then the opening number of that show could be the theme song to my
I love that. I love that.
life.
Okay. What is your favorite activity to pass time?
My favorite activity to pass time. Hmm. I think it depends where I am. I think, you know, if I'm in New York, I love going to like the park in New York. I love walking around because I think just being outside in New York is so inspiring. Um, in LA, I I like to read because I think that LA is like very relaxing and you're kind of meant to like stay in one place and just like enjoy where you are. And I think reading is a great way of doing that. I play some video games. I play Switch. I was very big into the Legend of Zelda game on Switch for a while. Um, so any of those things. I mean, I love TV too.
I
I
mean,
love RuPaul's Drag Race.
oh,
I'm gonna sneeze again.
bless you.
I forgot about Drag Race. I love RuPaul's Drag Race with all my heart, and I will binge watch RuPaul's Drag Race probably every night.
As you should, as you
Yeah.
should. Speaking of books, Book Talk will hate me if I don't ask this.
Okay.
So, what are like your top book recommendations?
Ooh. Okay. So I've been reading a lot of like nonfiction recently. There is a book called The Untethered Soul that actually Josh gave to me a little while ago that I read and have been rereading, and it's kind of about spirituality outside of like religion. It's not a religion based book. It's about like understanding yourself, kind of like in the deeper understandings of who you are as a person and how to discover yourself and all those kinds of things. um I read a book called The Third Door that I loved, and that was about discovering yourself through like entrepreneurship, and like starting a business. um there's a series that I really want to get into, that my friend just recommended me, called the Broken Earth trilogy, which is like a very it's like a this is now fiction. This is like a fantasy series. I don't know much about it. Um and honestly, yeah, if it wasn't so popular right now and it wasn't so hard to get a copy, I would probably have to read the Heartstopper books as well. Do you have them? Of course you do.
I have all of them. Of
Are they
course I
good?
do.
Are they good?
They are so good. But
Okay.
you can read them online. They
I
are
heard
fully
that. Someone
online.
said that. Someone said that, and I forgot that.
I'll
Yes.
send you the link.
Oh my gosh, I would love that.
Speaking of like fandoms, what
hmm
is your Hogwarts house if you know it?
Okay, so I was more of a Star Wars person
Okay.
than a Harry Potter person. I don't really know why. There's no real reason. I think I would love Harry Potter equally. I just like for whatever reason never got super into it. I think I'm a Hufflepuff, but I don't know for sure.
I mean, I get Hufflepuff vibes off of you,
Yeah.
so I would say Hufflepuff, yeah. So, which fictional character do you think would be the most exciting to meet in real life?
Out of all the fictional characters that have ever existed ever,
Yes, you
wow.
can give me multiple answers.
Um, well, because we're on Star Wars, I think I mean I would love to meet Luke Skywalker. I would love to meet Darth Vader, or even a droid. I would
Or
love to meet a droid.
Chewbacca.
Yeah, or Chewbacca. Um, I also somebody asked me the other day about the Hunger Games. Did you ever get into the Hunger Games?
I
Um,
watched the movies, but
yeah,
besides that, no.
I was very into the Hunger Games when I was younger, and I mean, I would love to meet Katniss Everdeen. That would be cool too.
Okay, and now the last question.
Okay.
What is the most useless talent that you have?
Oh, I can touch my tongue to my nose. Yeah, like this.
Wow.
Yeah, hasn't gotten me anywhere, but I can
Well,
do it.
it's still a fun party trick. Okay, but with that, we're at the end of our interview. Thank you so much for joining us,
Thank you for having me.
and to everyone listening, thanks for listening. Watch the third season of High School Musical, the musical series, when it comes out later this
Yay!
summer.
And that's girl stuff.